Here's the Galaxy S25 Edge. I'm gonna do a battery replacement on this device, show you exactly how to remove the back glass and also get access to the battery on this device. Okay, here I heated the back glass at 1100 Fahrenheit. This is the maximum for my heat gun and I did it for 1 minute. And also the air output was at 50%. The next step was very easy. You simply need to align a suction cup on the back glass and then start pulling slowly in order to avoid breaking the back glass. If you have a back glass already broken, this does not matter. You can use a blade in order to create the gap between the back glass and the frame of the device. Once you have a gap, insert a guitar pick and start moving the guitar pick from left to right in order to create or enlarge the separation between the back glass and the frame of the device. Here I did the bottom near the charging port first. Once that has been completed, I reheated the sides of this Galaxy S25 Edge in order to help me remove the back glass more easily going through the sides. Okay, for this one I heated for less than 20 seconds and the settings were the same, 1100 Fahrenheit and air output 50%. Next I decided to introduce a second guitar pick in order to help me remove or detach the back glass from the right side of the Galaxy S25 Edge. So this guitar pick is a little bit thinner than the one at the bottom. This is why it is a lot easier to use this one. Then I continued on the other side of the Galaxy S25 Edge in order to separate the back glass from the frame of the device. Okay, here again, near the cameras, you will need to be a little bit careful not to push the guitar pick far inside to avoid touching any of the camera modules. The only side left is the top of the device. Just run the guitar pick from one side to the other, making sure that the back glass has been separated fully from the frame of this S25 Edge. So I went back again near the cameras because it was still very sticky on that area. You will need to be careful not to touch the camera modules again. At this point, the back glass has been fully separated from the frame of the device. I can simply grab one side of the back glass and completely open the device. Then next, simply detach the back glass from the frame of this Galaxy S25 Edge. Before accessing the battery, you will need to remove a few screws that are going to expose the cable for the battery so that you can remove the cable from the motherboard and start removing other stuff. This screw is of a different color, so keep that in mind, and there is another screw that is smaller than the other ones for the 5D antenna on the right. Okay, right now I simply need to detach the wireless charger that is attached by double-sided tape to the loudspeaker at the bottom of the device. Simply pull it and make sure that you do not break it. After that, disconnect the flex cable for the wireless charger. Disconnect this cable with your finger or a plastic tool. Then you can completely remove the wireless charger assembly from the device. After that, locate the battery cable and disconnect that cable from the motherboard. For this step, make sure that you use your finger or you use a plastic tool. If you use a metal tool with the battery connected to the motherboard, if there is a short, you may damage your motherboard and completely lose your device. Currently, I'm removing the screws at the bottom of the device on the loudspeaker in order to have access to the flex cables that are at the bottom of this Galaxy S25 Edge. In this area, there is a small hole where you can insert your tool in order to pry out the loudspeaker that has also the haptic feedback engine. With the Galaxy S25 Edge, they didn't use a loudspeaker that has an integrated vibrator. They separated both due to the limitation of space. For a battery replacement exclusively, you do not need to remove the speaker at the top of the device, the one that I just removed. You do not need to remove that for a battery replacement. And also you do not need to remove the 5D antenna at the right that I removed previously. You can see the battery, but we need to remove the cables that are on top of the battery. You simply need to disconnect those cables connected to the motherboard. Here also you can use a metal tool because the battery has been disconnected for quite a while now, but you can also use a plastic tool or use your finger. At the bottom, the cable going to the screen, the one on the left cannot be removed, so you have to disconnect only the top. The other two cables can be removed and completely removed out of the device. For that, you will need to remove two screws holding the USB-C port. After that, disconnect fully the other end of the cable that goes on the SIM card reader. Then you will need to pull the USB-C port slowly without damaging anything. Just wiggle the cable around. You will see it will start moving and then you can remove the USB-C port completely. So this is the design assembly for the USB-C port and the other end of the cable that goes to the charging module and SIM card tray. So right now everything has been removed and we can see the battery and have access to the battery pull tabs. The Galaxy S25 Edge has the latest design for battery assembly on a Samsung device, and this is the easiest that they could have done. You simply need to remove or undo each side of the tape holding the battery. I just undid the first one. You will need to do the second one also, and the third and the fourth. Undo all those plastic covering the battery, and then you will have access to the battery to simply remove it. I think this is the easiest way to remove a battery. This is the easiest that they could have done. To make things easy for everybody, I think the EU should make this a permanent battery installation for all smartphones. The same thing that they did for USB-C, forcing Apple to go to the USB-C. To make it even easier will be to use less double-sided tape that are holding the plastic on top of the battery. But apart from that, the next easiest thing will be to not use any double-sided tape, which will make the battery loose and move around. So this is exactly how you saw it. You simply need to undo all the plastic covering the battery, simply like a box. You open the box and you take out the battery from the inside. This is the same principle for the Samsung S25 Edge. Also, for a replacement battery, you can reuse the plastic that is still inside the device. You simply need to put the new battery inside and fold back the plastic in order to hold the battery in place. If you get a battery from Samsung that comes with the new plastic, everything new, you can simply pull the rest of the plastic that was on the inside of the device and then install the new battery inside with the new plastic covering the battery and holding everything in place. The next step will be to reinstall everything in the reverse order. Reinstall the USB-C port, the cable going to the charging module, and also put all the cables back from the bottom of the device connected to the motherboard. Then you can test everything to make sure that it is working. Then right after that, simply do the installation of a new back glass.
Ultra. In order to remove the battery, I'm going to use my heating method.
Okay, here I'm just showing you how it was done on the Galaxy S22 Ultra, where we came from and what we got with the S25 series and the S25 Edge. You can see it is night and day different.
Pressure until the battery started to move. You can add a second tool to have more leverage. And yes, we're going to use 1000 Fahrenheit to remove this battery. So at first we need to hit the screen of the device. You will say the screen might get damaged, but rarely these screens get damaged by using the heat method to remove the battery on their back. Disclaimer, if you do it too much on the screen, it's going to get damaged. After hitting the screen of the device near the area where the double-sided tip of the battery lies, I'm using my tool to start the removing process of the battery. The tool that I'm using is a flat metal tool, and there is a tiny risk for this tool to puncture the battery. Your battery replacement kit should come with only plastic tools. Use your plastic tool to remove the battery. It's going to be safer. Avoid any risk of fire while using a plastic tool. If you have more experience, you can use a metal tool, but you will still have to be very careful not to puncture the battery.
Yes, this is what you have to do with the Galaxy S22 series of phone. The S23, they did change this design. It was a little bit easier, but not as easy as it is on the Galaxy S25 series.